Hi everyone, my name's Mark Williment. I'm Head of Technology for Keytree, and I'm going to talk to you today about a product we've developed for luxury retailers, use on shop floors, so working with a client, hence the term clientelling, and how we've used Cloud Foundry and the SAP Cloud Platform to make that product possible. So I'll tell you briefly about the product, give you some background, and then discuss why requirements we got coming out of that, and then why Cloud Foundry meets them and the various ways we're using Cloud Foundry. So a little bit about Keytree. We're about 11 years old now, so grown in those 11 years from 3 people to around about 320. I think our sort of unique focus is we know SAP business systems and can do everything you do there, business process, retail process, supply chain. But then on top of that, we build edge use cases, so mobile apps, consumer-facing, business to enterprise, web apps, and so on. So things that really take what's in those SAP systems and bring it to life and present it to users. And that's why Cloud Foundry is exciting to us, because it's great as that bridge layer between your systems of record and your systems of engagement. So the specific project I'm talking about today is Keytree instore technology. This started around about 18 months ago. We were doing a range of work with a high-end luxury clothes designer, retailer. They have flagship stores around the world. They manufacture clothes and something. And very important in their retail stores. And in their retail stores, a scarf might start at €300, dresses, €8,000, points between. So it needs to be a high-end experience and an engaging experience. So their sales associates very highly trained, and what we want to do is give them more power and information and better ability to interact with a customer in front of them. So we started talking to them about this iPad app to give to their store associates. And what became very apparent early on in that is they wanted that as a product. So not just an app we built for them, but something that was productized, had a roadmap, grew over time, and took ideas and concepts from other customers as well. So we said, great, we'll productize it. It's live with that first customer. It's in final testing with a second, who are a large Canadian department store. It's being looked at by a number of others. But that being a product started to bring in some of the Cloud Foundry requirements. So, and it's built on the sort of service layer logic is Cloud Foundry services on SAP Cloud Platform. So, product roadmap up there. I won't go into detail, but it was just to give you an idea of how fast we're moving with this and the sort of innovation we want to pull in. So it's important for stores to make the in-store experience exciting. People have a trip to the store rather than just for convenience of buying on the internet. So this is very much in that kind of thing. So it starts, and I'm sure that's unreadable, but our go live is around CRM integration. So the shop assistant sees your recent purchases, communication with the organization, your recent purchases from the e-commerce system, inventory. Do we have what this customer is interested in stock? But as the roadmap comes on, so this goes only to the end of 2018, we're starting to integrate it into different features in the store. We're throwing in machine learning features, which I'll talk about later. We're bringing in wearables, and this is not a 10-year roadmap. This is a 2-year roadmap. So we need a technology that allows us to move fast and innovate. So right at the start, when this was going to be a product, we sat down and thought about the requirements a product delivery brings to you. And one of the key ones is flexibility. We hope this is used by a good number of retailers, and early signs are certainly that it will be. But every retailer is different. They have different back-end systems of record. They have different requirements in their store. So flexibility was a key requirement. And then allied to that flexibility, modularization. So for us as a product vendor, we want to be able to sell a modular product to our customers at different price points, different features, and so on. The next one, absolutely key. If you're a high-end retailer, your customer list is sacrosanct. It is vital business critical information, both because if it's leaked, that's reputation, and also, obviously, competitive advantage. So this needs to be secure, and it needs to be a system that segregates data, and also scalability and performance. High-end retailers have flagship stores around the world. If you're stood with a customer, you're needing to get information on what's in stock, what they've purchased. That needs to be quick, there needs to be performance, and it needs to be performance around the world. And we thought about some of the answers to these, which I'll run through, but they all started to point us at Cloud Foundry, and this was very much at the time when SAP was starting to release services on Cloud Foundry and SAP, on SAP Cloud Platform, so things really started to come together for us. So, our logical architecture, the core of the product is the app, either on a tablet or a mobile phone, which a store assistant has everything in store, but that's only useful if it gets information from other systems. So we have our integration and innovation layer, so effectively the cloud layer the app talks to, and then that serves as the gateway for the app into e-commerce platforms. What has this customer bought? The 360 customer view. What have they been saying on social media? Have they had interactions with our help desk? Have they had returns? Comms and social media. So if you're a personal shopper doing follow-up calls with social media channel of your customer's choice. Digital furniture, I'll talk a bit more later, but actually tying it into touch screens and innovative display units in the shop, point of sale, obviously, and then inventory management. Someone's interested in this dress. Do I have that in stock in this store? If not, is it in the other store 5 miles down the road? Is it at the Heathrow Airport store? When we're flying back, can we ship it to them the next day? So we have this layer that ties them all together. So now, the next few slides, we'll talk about how we're delivering that with Cloud Foundry. So the first sort of deployment, the way we're deploying this, looking back at the vital that customer data is secure and segregated across our different customers, we deploy it to segregated tenants. So this is not a multi-tenanted software as a service. This is, we create a tenant for each customer. And we believe that's the right way to guarantee each customer's data is secure in their own environment. And those tenants, so they have to be a Cloud Foundry stack, could be owned and managed by us, could be owned and managed by our customer, could be SAP Cloud, well, by default to SAP Cloud Platform, could be other Cloud Foundry stacks. So we obviously then here have a need to start deploying our software, our apps across lots of different multiple customer Cloud Foundry stacks and doing that in an automated, consistent, low overhead way. And then we talked about modularization. Different customers take different elements, so we start to deploy the different apps for different customers. So there's a full set, but not, for example, not every customer will take the social, not every customer might want integration with their CRM in the first place. So we have these apps which we deploy to Cloud Foundry, which build up in the customer-specific environment the recipe of things they need for their particular install of Keytree install technology. So what are those apps? They're typically, and Cloud Foundry gives us a choice, but most of them are Node.js apps, lightweight server-side apps. They present a REST API to the mobile device and then talk to systems of records and other systems by whatever means they can. And then we sort of push these Node.js microservices, deploy them as Cloud Foundry runtime containers, application containers, actually, in the new terminology from this week. Cloud Foundry application containers onto the customer's specific environment. So Cloud Foundry looks after scaling, it looks after startup shutdown, it looks after failover, it looks after dependency management. So we just concentrate on building a microservice that does the job for Keytree install technology, and the Cloud Foundry platform looks after all that sort of very important plumbing stuff, but takes the concerns of that away from us. So to give some working examples, obviously we're an SAP partner, so here's an SAP-centric architecture. So in this one, e-commerce is SAP Hybris Commerce, so we plug in the integration pack to SAP Hybris Commerce. CRM is SAP Cloud for Customer, so we plug in that integration. Inventory is SAP S4 Retail, so we plug in that integration. And there you go, a model environment that works for customer with the latest SAP cloud solutions. But the world's not always like that, and we wouldn't get very far if we just sold to customers who are at particular landscape. So for example, here's another customer. They're using Shopify as their e-commerce system. So we develop a Shopify integration service. Looks exactly the same to the mobile app, but that customer gets Shopify integration mobile service deployed to their Cloud Foundry. They're using Salesforce as their CRM. We deploy that integration. They've got older style on-premise SAP ECC retail for inventory. We plug in that integration piece. So as you can see, we're sort of building up these different environments, very modular, and we can just swap it in and out as to meet the needs of our particular customer's landscape, and also as their landscape evolves, they swap SAP ECC retail for SAP S4HANA retail. We swap in and out our build packs. And because of the modularization of Cloud Foundry, the containerization, this is very easy, much easier than it would be if we just had a big sort of Tomcat server here. So that abstraction and containerization here. And then, obviously, that allows us to scale out and bring in additional modules. So on to some of the other requirements. We talked about scalability, and we're aware, and sort of some of our customers of this have talked about how important it is and the difficulties they have in getting data quickly to stores in different parts of the world, say China, Australasia, and so on. So what this architecture allows us to do is deploy certain parts of a customer's environment locally. So you may have one US-based inventory system, and that's fine because your calls to inventory, check stock, can maybe take a bit longer because you're quite a long way down the transaction. Or I'll just take a few seconds to see how far, if we've actually got it in stock. Other things like catalog, social media, you need very, very quick. So you create localized deployments with caching, calling back to a central tenant there, and so you get this distributed deployment that the app can talk to. And again, Cloud Foundry and modularization allows us to do layouts like that and gives us a lot of flexibility. So that's core product. So where we are today, different types of integration, connections and so on. But let's get on to some more interesting stuff. So because we're work with the SAP iOS SDK, and this was one of sort of the early pilot apps for that, Apple got involved in the design of this, which was great. Our design team and customer representatives went over to Cupertino, to Apple's offices, and they did some design review sessions with us. We got a load of store associates in, and Apple, who would know, are really good at design and flushing out user requirements. So it was a bit of anything else, and one of the store assistants said, yeah, something that happens really quite often is someone will bring in a cutting from a magazine or a newspaper, some celebrity wearing an outfit they really like. Have you got anything like this? So could you take a picture of that and tell me as a store assistant, here's everything in the catalogue that's a bit like that? And we had some thinking and said, yeah, we can do that, visual search, machine learning over your catalogue. What's interesting is yesterday, Pivotal had a demo and talked about something developed independently that did something extremely similar to this, different set of technologies and so on. But so this is on our roadmap, but some months ago we built the concept of this, got it working, and now it's going for sort of testing and productionization. Now at the time, the way innovation often works in modern IT is you're not building low-level things from scratch. You're taking existing components contributed by the open source community and assembling them in new and exciting ways. And being able to do this very flexibly is important. And because you're going out, you want the best, most interesting tools for the job. We like this open computer vision library, an important part of that. That runs in Python. So this is where the multi-language capabilities of Cloud Foundry come in. So in fact, we can choose the tools that are great for us to innovate with, and we're not constrained by the tools we want to innovate with that match a particular language choice of a platform. Cloud Foundry is multi-language. Get the tool, the platform will very, very high chance to be able to run it. So we've got this flexibility to innovate and use the best. So in the app, take a picture of an outfit, someone wearing an outfit. It will do a search and bring back similar things. Sort of very exciting. And as the store associates are genuinely excited about that because it's a real use case for them. Next one. In terms of innovation, I talked about fitting into the store environment. So we're looking at a number of concepts, such as even being able to control the store lighting, stock taking, so using indoor positional techniques. I'm here in the store, this is the amount of stock you should be able to see, is that correct, type things. And also, if you're spending time as a personal shopper or so on with a high-value customer, what you really don't want to be doing is sending over to a set of changing rooms which are full. So we have another product which is around office and room space booking and management and utilization. As part of that, we have infrared sensors which can work out room and building occupancy. So we're connecting them, we're using those sensors, connecting them into this system. So, put an infrared sensor in a changing room, and short term, you can put up live to the sales associate on their iPad. I can see changing room 4 is free, sir, if you want to go, or keep them talking a little bit longer if you've no changing rooms. Short term and also long term, see, actually, are all my changing rooms busy every Saturday, in which case maybe I need to adjust my retail space, create some more. And also we're looking at putting voice activated, so Alexa or maybe another actually in the changing room. So you're in the changing room, you could say, oh, not quite the right size. Just say, could I get another one to the voice assistant? That gets relayed to a iWatch worn by someone in the store and says, okay, yeah, I'll take a size 12 of this particular item to changing room 6. So again, so innovation. So we're getting into Internet of Technology there. So we need there's a dealing with the data of that. You get into NoSQL data stores, you need low energy protocols, and so on. So again, flexibility of tooling, flexibility of different types of data. So then this is other stuff you just get with Cloud Foundry because it's such a wide environment. So to summarize, product, so you want customer-specific cloud environments, flexible as to where they are in the world, what goes on them, and is it ours, is it the customers, and so on. So Cloud Foundry is perfect for that. It's this abstraction layer that hides the details of underlying infrastructure to us, but in a consistent, standards-driven, open way. So Cloud Foundry gives us the best chance of finding an environment that suits our customer and suits our technology. Once we've got our environment, the modularization, the automated deployment of the tools there allow us to configure that specific environment in a very flexible way with a recipe of microservices that meets their scenario. And then because it's not constraining, it's multi-language, it's multi-backend services, it's growing over time, it allows us to innovate. We want this product to be very successful, but we know there's other players in this market. Retailers are demanding ever more excitement, get people in. So this allows us to innovate and drive ourselves forward. Any questions, just give me a shout, or my details are up there. I'll tweet this out, but there's also a very good, my colleague Will Powell, who did a lot of front-end design and innovation and creativity for this, was interviewed by Apple, did an Apple Tech Talk podcast. So if you want to find a bit more about how this was built on the iPad, I'll tweet out a link, but very good sort of Apple Tech Talk on that. Any questions?
So similar thing yesterday, as you said, they were using Google's machine learning. Did you use the same?
We used the Open Computer Vision library, so another library. We'll hopefully medium term start to actually move it into the SAP Leonardo machine learning stack, but that wasn't there when we were first doing this. So I really like that pivotal talk. I don't know, it was a bit spooky watching it because of the similarities. But yeah, there's lots of machine learning technologies there, and I think that market is going to mature, and there's going to be different technologies, and some are going to be right. So the way we're designing that is a sort of very interface, API-based, microservices-based way. So because we know we may need to plug in and out components of that, machine learning components of that, in flexible ways in future as different technologies take hold. And we didn't specifically use a Google one because that was flexibility of deployment. We don't want to be tied into Google Cloud Platform any more than we want to be tied into any other. So. Hi.
You said you have all these different microservices and integration modules, and for different customers you deploy different modules and different landscapes. That sounds like a lot of complexity. And is that an issue? And how do you keep track of what has been deployed where and how it's configured for each customer?
So we use continuous delivery. So we have continuous integration service. We use TeamCity, could be Jenkins, could be anything. So have the deployment's automated. So that continuous integration effectively automates the recipe we deploy to a particular customer. And it's 2 so far. So we think that's robust and scale, but we're hopefully going to learn over the next year when that becomes 3, 4, however many. We ship logs. We ship logs externally for 2 reasons for that. Because it gets into good logging tools, and also for compliance. We take logs to a system where different people have rights for compliance. So we ship logs to Loggly and Datadog, and then do log mining on them there. So we're actually shipping logs to third-party log management systems, because that answers both how much we can do with the logs, log mining, and alerting based on log mining, and also sort of security and audit and segregation of duty type questions. Okay, thank you.